I certainly have to say that Memento is a cinematically defining film, and I'm going to give Memento a triple yes. And it really manages to pique your interest using something that in theory is so bizarre in fact, but witnessing it unfold on screen is almost something that is, dare I say, beautiful. And there is certain technical genius behind the film, if you will, with regards to editing especially, but when all these elements really culminate and come together, they merely add to this interesting cycle that the film presents to you with narrative and of course the character, which affect the other and in fact are interrelated, and ultimately create a beautiful chain as the story affects the characters affect the story, and this goes on from beginning to end, or let's say end to beginning in this film's case. Ultimately, Memento manages to present you with something incredibly unique. Rather than being confusing, all in all it's more complex, to be honest, and in its complexity, it gives you a tale that perhaps you never thought was actually possible to witness on screen or that could work, but ultimately gives you such an intense experience. I certainly have to say that Memento is a cinematically defining film. Memento tells the story of Leonard, a man suffering from short-term memory loss who seeks out revenge against the man who killed his wife, and I certainly have to say that Memento is an absolutely fantastic film. And what I absolutely love about the film is that we are following the journey of a man who is very different from who we are. He suffers from something that we can't fully understand, but we see how he lives his life in his own little bubble, if you will, and ultimately he's trying to find the sense of resolution to his life and try to find purpose in life, being aware of what his issue is and at the same time making the best out of it in order to pursue revenge. Now where was I? That's right, the narrative structure of this film. It's incredibly constructed, and the fact of the matter is, it's an extremely bold risk to a certain degree, but the film manages to understand where some of its core points really lie in terms of how interesting they could be or how intense they could be, and functioning backwards definitely has two different sides to it. The first side being that it really makes no difference to the lead character because of his short-term memory loss. Rather, these are just segments of his life that he witnesses day in and day out, and he himself can't necessarily make a connection between them, and at the same time witnessing the story run backwards and forwards is absolutely beautiful to witness because each scene manages to reveal something new, whether about a character or about a story element, and really manages to pique your interest. And it's the motivation of the lead character that really gives us an interesting insight into who he really is. And once again, seeing him function and his relationships with various different people, how they change and develop, is absolutely interesting to witness on screen. And there's something almost so poignant about the film in and of itself that makes it difficult to review, but at the same time, the very combination of narrative along with the character and the back and forth telling of the story makes Memento what I believe is one of the greatest films of all time. Now where was I?